You know what else is happening a lot right now? People staying home. And once they're done binging Netflix, we're going old school, playing video games. With us now, Sandon Newton. He's the owner of Protege Game Studios. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Ronnie. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so tell us about your studios, because you're actually teaching the next generation.
Yes, that's correct. That's what we built our studio on, with an education background. My educational background has been in computer science, master's in business. And before I even started this, I was in a multimedia creative platform. And that was at the time when we had disc. You know, they put the encyclopedias on disc. That's how far back I go with this. But I discovered programming, and I really wanted to kind of bring the love of video games and my background into a cohesive business. And it was the studio concept, and training and teaching kids how to build their own video games. And that's where we're in school.
This is awesome. It really is amazing, and allowing them to have that skill, but also understanding the technology that goes into designing these video games. Is this industry exploding right now?
It is. As you can see online, kids are immersed in all the different types of video games that's attracting their attention, especially during the COVID shutdown times. I think it's definitely taking their attention into the video game market. But we want to hijack sort of that process, so we can be able to kind of like say, hey, what you like playing on the screen, you can also participate in that and create. And a lot of these game platforms are also allowing those editing platforms to make that concept available to them.
So I'm going to date myself a little bit. The first video game I got, I think it was called Blimp or whatever, and it was just two little dials and a red dot. Yeah. And you were trying to, keep it on the little line and stuff. But boy, look at the technology behind some of this, the gaming and the industry. But we're also seeing the explosion of the esports, and some of these kids can really make a lot of money by going into this industry.
Yes, yeah, certainly in the play area. I mean, who would have thought years ago that you would be able to make a career and a living out of playing games in competition, and people actually watching this, in streams like Twitch and some of these other things where they have a fan base, excited to watch it. But, with our studio, we want to be able to have both ends, where you can be able to play to learn and create for knowledge, where you can be able to, explore in both areas.
Sandon Newton with us here on the MegaCast. He's the owner of Protege Game Studios. And with that, what skills do you look for?
Yeah, the thing is with video game development, there's a lot of different disciplines that kind of come together. And whether or not it's creating graphics, animation, sound development, that corresponds with narrative, talk, with story, with music. Programming, of course, is a base foundation that we work in. Project management crosses this. And so we kind of bring together a lot of different disciplines and pathways for kids to explore in our platform.
So I have to say, I was ignorant to the world of gaming and how big it has become until I saw a real sports segment where they were going into these arenas and these kids were competing and making so much money, but also then going behind the scenes and creating the games as well. So for the parents that are saying, hey, they're spending too much time on their video games, what do you say to them?
I say, hey, there's plenty of platforms out there, but we're one of them, where you can be able to explore that area, that creative area. You have a pathway. With our studio, we offer courses online, and it's available now to all the students in high school, middle school, where they can go through Michigan Virtual and take our courses for free through their school system. And so, we're reaching out to the students and saying, hey, not only can you play the games, but you can also learn how to create them. And there's lots of opportunities out there like ours.
That is so great. And with that is, since so many of the kids are learning remotely now and they do all have access to a computer, is that helping you reach more kids?
It certainly is. We had one foot in it tentatively, before all this, but it just really accelerated the whole kind of focus for us and saying, okay, we need to get fully online with our creative editing platforms. We got an online editor where students can be able to access all the code, all the files, all the creative content right through their web browser, along with the content from the classroom. And so they follow along. Of course, the great thing with Zoom now, we can be able to connect with them online, connect, right with their code, and be able to help them one-on-one through it. It's not ideal. You want to have that balance with, in person in our studio, but it's kind of finding that unique platform where it can be able to kind of do both and do it well.
I didn't even know what Twitch was. I was like, what are you talking about, Twitch?
Yeah, platforms come and go, and that's certainly a really popular platform, and I think that's owned by Amazon now. And kids are tuned to it and watching all sorts of things happen.
How do you figure out what is going to be the next hot game?
Well, that's the mystery for all of our studios. If we knew that, we would have winners all the time. And that is the magic sauce everybody's trying to find. It kind of comes together with timing, right content, the right thing that hits with kids and the eyeballs, for them, the attention. I've saw some great stuff get created and it go nowhere. And other stuff that you would think that wouldn't be popular are popular. And it's an interesting creative platform that you're in with game development.
Right, because it's you have the mindless things such as like, what was it, Angry Birds and Candy Crush, those they seem to have gone away. But then you have some of them, there's a lot of skill that goes into playing some of these games.
Oh, absolutely. At my time, I'm going to date myself again with this, with Quake and the areas. We used to, hook all our computers up at college and play these local LAN games. Rudimentary graphics in that compared to what they've got now. And I see these kids, they got buttons all in front of them and joysticks and things, and they're just moving from things seamlessly and effortlessly. And I just look at that just amazed. Dexterity and everything they put into it.
So with that, Sandon Newton with us here on the MegaCast, he's the owner of Protege Game Studios. I have to ask you, what are your thoughts on the entire esports arena? We have Oakland University now that is actually, they have a team and they provide scholarships and training just like their, what we would say typical athletes, their football players, their basketball players. When you have that conversation about people of this being a sport, what is your response?
When I first heard about it, I was like, what? I had a friend that was a professor at one of the digital programs here in West Michigan. And he said he was going to be leading this new team of esport athletes. And once he was explaining it, to me, and I knew this was big thing, but I didn't realize that colleges were getting involved in this and using this as a tool for recruitment to bring them into their schools. And kids would look at that going, yeah, I can play on the football team and I can also join the esport team. I want to go there. So the colleges are opening up to this and saying, hey, this could be a good thing. I had my doubts early on, and after he was explaining things to me and how this was working, I was like, this could be a good thing, a really positive thing. So I see it as a stepping stone, as a platform. Apparently, kids can make this into a full career if they really pursue this. In other ways, I see it as a good positive thing for the attracting into the game industry, and then also a way to bring it to me where I can be able to be on the creative side of it. So I see some things.
That's awesome. It is just that creativity. I know that I saw an interview with members of the military, and they were saying that they recruit some of these kids that played video games because of the technology that goes into, the military and protecting our country. You think of drones, you think of some of the other equipment. It's so high tech now. And, so you are training the next generation, not just of developers, but people to go into the other industries as well.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of creativity on both sides. Even playing the games, you can see these kids, really strategize and think things through. They got to be a step ahead of what's coming and how to adapt to that. So I think it also creates a little bit of resilience, with these kids, working through these problems, which are the games.
What other skills are they learning by taking part in this program?
In my program or in the programs with esports?
Well, in your program.
In my program, they got a lot of different things that they could cross and paths that they can be able to go down, whether or not it's sound development, graphics, animation, project management, programming. My background is in with the programming side of things. But it's also kind of harnessing the different elements that go into a video game. And so they'll get a little bit of this and that, which is graphics, understanding what goes behind what creates a video game and how to make it interactive. And it just doesn't have to be a video game. It could also be a very interactive platform for companies, that they're looking to engage their customers. So if they have an understanding of how this all pulls together and works, they can use those mechanics and the understanding to be able to help with industries.
It seems like the technology changes so fast. I mean, it really wasn't all that long ago that we were carrying around a cell phone in a bag. Really, in the concept of time, how do you keep up on the technology and the changes and being on the cutting edge to teach the kids as well?
Yeah, we expose them to a lot of these different technical bottom line elements in that, but we also inject them in a way to process how to learn and pick up new information. How they look at things, and it kind of comes from my background in programming. There's a new language of programming coming out like every week, but if you have the fundamentals, you have the understanding how a lot of the stuff is working and pulling together, you can quickly adapt to these new platforms and new industries and new tech and quickly reconcile that in your head for it, to how to apply that, how to use it and get good at it. And I see that, like you're bringing it up with the esports, they can easily adapt to like new games, new way of thinking and creatively, because it's based on good foundational things that they're in that space with. And so that's what we try to do in our creative industry, is build a good foundational base so they can be able to apply it everywhere.
Yeah, we always need to start with the basics. I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second. What's your favorite game?
I'm old school, and I'm going to show. I liked the old classic. I like the old LAN games, and I like the human interaction with that. It's missing something when you're connecting a lot of people online with video and stuff like that as you're playing. There's a lot of human element for that. So I always liked the old Quake games, the 1942s, the EA Sports, anything that connected. And so everything's gone main server, more online. And Zoom calls, even we're thrown into that right now, of course, with the whole COVID, but it's really escalated with that. And we have to learn how to adapt to both of these things. We're human, and then we're also on the digital platforms and using these tools. How do we make those things work?
And has the pandemic in some ways helped your business, or has it hindered it?
Yeah, it has. When it hit us, we were at schools, career days and talking to them about the studio things that we offer for them and our courses. And when it hit, it hit like everybody else. It was like, what is this? What does this mean? How long is this going to go for? How can we adapt to this? At the worst of it, we had to let go of an employee, and then thank God we were able to bring them back, like right away, once we kind of refocused on what we needed to do. And so in a lot of ways, it was a good thing. because it was kind of going down this path, a lot of stuff connecting online and Zoom calls. And, it's like, how do we do both?
I had never even heard of Zoom before this.
Yes. Yeah. It just came out of, they had an opportunity. Everybody just jumped on it. So again, those things, we don't know it's going to be popular, so we have to adapt.
So if someone is listening to this quickly, Sandon, and they want to get their kid involved, how can they learn more about the program?
Yeah, our page is ProtégéStudios.com, and what you want to look for is our programs that we offer, but it connects to Michigan Virtual Catalog, which lists a lot of different opportunities in their areas for classrooms, not just us. We think we're pretty unique with game development, but if you go to ProtégéStudios.com, go to our educational space, what we offer for courses, that will link you to a contact form for them to fill out, quick name, interest, and we'll get contact information to them, what they need to do. It's a simple form. Talk to their school counselor, their parent, sign, send to us, and it's in. You're in.
So it really is a good way for parents to also connect with their kids as well. If they're playing video games, hey, if you're going to play for hours on end, we're going to teach you something as well. Sandon, I will tell you, if I ever, maybe you and I, if we ever see each other in person, I will take you on, and we.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Is we even still a thing? We have ours. It's like, in the closet.
Yeah. No, I do too. I've got the Wii, great platform. So
I always like the bowling.
Yeah, that's fun. I always end up throwing the whole remote and everything right against the TV or the wall. So
I don't know, do they even still sell those? I don't know.
Well, in like game shops, they're GameStop and places like that used, and they still have them. But they got other kind of interesting platforms out there now too. So it's always changing.
Well, it's been so great having you with us here on the show. It's just a great platform that you have that you're offering to the students, because they can learn so many skills, and really this is an important avenue that it can help lead them in their future path down the road.
Thank you for having me.